Hey guys, Erik here, Florida High Performance. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Behind me is Bad Punk'n ZL1. Yes, it has been a very long time since this car made an appearance on this YouTube channel. Yes, I am sorry about that. Hell yes, we are super busy here at the shop. It's a good thing, I'm not complaining, but of course, being the shop owner and this being the shop owner's car, guess what? It doesn't take priority. Priority is given to the customers here and people who are paying us to work on their cars and build their ZL1s and Corvettes and CTSVs and other things. So, but super excited. This is episode 3 on this build. We're getting ready to actually start dyno tuning this car. Now, in the previous 2 episodes, I went into a little bit more detail of the actual build, how we were doing things, the techniques that we use to modify these cars. In this episode, I actually am gonna skip over that. The job that we just completed on Bad Punk'n was one of our head cam swaps. We also upgraded to a race port from Jokerz Performance on the LT4 blower. It was an extensive job. We were all involved in this the last 2 or 3 days getting this car done. We actually have an event today we're taking this car to. So it was one of those time crunch situations where I didn't have a lot of time to film. However, that being said, I will go into detail on the parts themselves, why we use what we use, the components that we use in these builds. And as always with any build here at Florida High Performance, it's the top quality, best stuff you can get. I don't cut corners. We're not gonna skimp on certain components and stuff to save money. We're just not gonna do that. We want the best stuff that's out there for this type of build. And of course, the results will speak for themselves when we're done. I feel very confident that we're gonna pick up a ton of horsepower and torque and efficiency above all else with the head cam setup that we just did. So as we did in episode 2, we're gonna tune this on 93, of course, get it dialed in on 93, and then have a little fun. I've got some MS-109 here from VP. We've got a VP station down here in Fort Lauderdale, so very, very close to us. So we get to go down there and buy some cool race gas, things like that, and have some fun with it. So tune it on 93, tune it on 109. I'm expecting really, really good gains, as I said. We'll go into the parts. And as always, at the end, I think you'll be very, very impressed by just how much horsepower and torque we pick up with this thing. Guys, look forward to showing you episode 3 in Bad Punk'n. I appreciate everybody's patience. I'm sorry it has been so long since we've put any content onto this car, but it's here, we got it done, and it's gonna be good. So let's dive into it. We're gonna go ahead and start the tuning process, and then again, talk about the parts and the results, and I will see you on the other side of tuning Bad Punk'n ZL1 with our cylinder head and camshaft package. All right, guys, so as with any build here at Florida High Performance, we did baseline test Bad Punk'n before the head cam swap. If you recall, episode 2, we upgraded the Supercharger. We went with a full tilt port from Jokerz, from Brett at Jokerz. We added a 103mm throttle body from K-Tech Performance. Still a full bolt-on car, no fuel system modifications, anything like that. I think we made right around 680 wheel, if I recall, 16 pounds of boost. I've been driving the car quite a bit since then. It's been quite a while, several months. And of course, you know, before we started digging into this thing again, we wanted to kind of see where we're at. So we put the car back on the dyno, made no changes, and did a couple of baseline pulls. Average was right around 661 horsepower. I think the last baseline pull with those mods was 661, 672. So pretty average numbers, 16 pounds of boost, ported blower, bolt-on car, 93, nothing crazy. So that gives us a good baseline to compare our gains with the head and cam swap and the race port blower too. So again, that was our baseline test results. We're gonna go ahead and start our tuning process here and see exactly what we gain with our head cam swap. So I want to get into the parts that we use. I want to talk to you a little bit about the head cam package that we offer here at Florida High Performance. Now, of course, we offer head cam packages for all kinds of engines, not just the LT4, LT1s, LT2s, and the new Corvettes. We work on a lot of trucks here and other things. Of course, LS engines, let's not forget about those. So this particular episode, again, is going to focus on this car. It's going to focus on the LT4 engine specifically, but this combination, if you will, sort of applies to any of our builds here. So if you're watching this video and you say, well, I don't have an LT4, I have an LS3 in my 2014 Camaro SS, how does that apply to me? Well, it does. A lot of the components are interchangeable between the LS engines and the LT engines. A lot of people don't know that. The LS and the LT engines are very similar. They're like cousins. The architecture is very similar. It's a pushrod style V8, cam and block. So a lot of the parts that we use are interchangeable. That actually came over from the LS market. Now, there are also some components that we use that are not interchangeable from the LS to the LT platform. Let's start with the cylinder heads. As you guys know, we're a big proponent of late model engines products. Their cylinder head porting is no exception. Very, very high quality port. They CNC the intake and exhaust ports in the heads. Obviously, they deck the surface of this head, make sure it's nice and flat. Replace the exhaust valves in this case. On the LT4 heads, they come stock with titanium intake valves, as you know. So the titanium intake valves are typically pretty high quality. You're usually reusable, unless they're damaged or something like that. So they'll retain the titanium intake valve. They will replace the exhaust valve with a higher quality stainless unit. They replace the guides. They'll go with like a bronze manganese guide. So they're going to go through the cylinder head. They're going to replace the items that could be potentially problematic or that may not be able to handle the horsepower we're creating. And then obviously full CNC, do all the machine work, which is going to increase flow. All right. So porting the head is going to increase the cylinder's capacity to provide more air into the cylinder. My philosophy is if something's coming off, take advantage of the fact that it's coming off, upgrade it. Why not? To do it later is going to be more money. Right? Do it now, it's done, it's over, it's on there, and we again, we're looking at it from a standpoint of reliability, right, and strength and efficiency. So, take the cylinder head off, address the valve issues, address the guide issues, put a better spring on there, of course. Do those things now, and you don't have to do them later. So for this particular engine, the LT4, I have a custom ground LT4 camshaft. We go through CamMotion cams in Louisiana. For our customers here, we have 3 camshaft selections. I'll call them a mild, a medium, and a hot, right? And then it all depends if it's boosted or naturally aspirated. So, I simplify the process for the customer. In this particular car in Bad Punk'n, we went with our hot cam, right? Our larger LT4 camshaft. What's great about this cam, it's got the chop everybody's looking for. It's also got excellent tunability and drivability, and it works well with manual and automatic transmissions, even the stock torque converter in the 8-speed and 10-speed transmission. So it's sort of a well-rounded camshaft. CamMotion cams, they offer different types of core material and things like that. They're very knowledgeable. So it's just a really great company to work with. And I trust their guidance, and we've come up with different grinds that work well for what our customers are looking for. So this particular car has what I would call our max effort LT4 camshaft. It is suited for the stock 6.2. If we were going to do something like a 416 or 427, I would custom grind something that's going to be a little larger on the duration on the lift side, take advantage of that displacement. But again, majority of our builds here are the stock bottom end 6.2, and that's exactly what this cam is suited for. It works really, really well, and you'll see that in the results. We have chosen here at FLHP Performance to get rid of the stock configuration with the lifter tray deal, and we actually go with a Johnson tie bar lifter. They are more expensive, about $850, $900 a set, depending where you buy it. It's a tie bar style lifter. We know that the lifters are never going to lose their orientation to the lobe of the cam, and obviously they're more suited for higher RPM applications. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're spinning this thing a lot higher than stock, so we go with the Johnson tie bar lifter. That's a standard item in any of our head cam swaps, whether it's LS or LT. They are interchangeable from the LS to the LT platform, and again, it is a standard component that we use here. That's what you're going to get. Oil pump, we go with a K-Tech oil pump. That is standard. A lot of guys skip the oil pump portion of these builds. They tear the engine down, they put everything back together, they use the stock oil pump. Early on, the ZL1s especially, they had oil pump issues. The 17s and the 18s, oil pump spontaneously would just fail. We eliminate that. you are going to get a K-Tech oil pump. Whether it's a dry sump or wet sump application, you're going to get it. That's part of our package. Push rods, we go with a Manton push rod. Manton's out in California, Matt and those guys are awesome. When you go with a Johnson tie bar lifter, they require very specific preloads, plus or I think it's 35 thou plus or minus 10. So very, very tight tolerances on the preloads. Well, you have to have a custom push rod for that. So each and every vehicle here will get a custom push rod measured to that particular setup, right? The base circle of the cam might be different, the deck thickness and the cylinder head might be different. There's different combinations there. So we have to measure. You can't just hope for the best and blindly throw a 7.850 push rod in there and hope for the best. It doesn't work like that. So everything here is custom spec to the vehicle, to that particular engine, and we turn to Manton. We do their 5 series push rods. On the LT4, it's going to be a 3/8 body, 5/16 ball ends with oiling provisions, and they're just really, really nice push rods. Yes, they're more expensive than the one-piece stuff out there. These are 3-piece design, but again, we're after quality, the best of the best. Money is not the focus here, more quality. So. Timing chain, C5R timing chain, whether it's an LS or an LT, that's standard here, so we do upgrade the timing chain. As you guys know, if you follow this page and you follow our Instagram and you follow our builds, you know that we use the late model engines billet front timing cover with their VVT delete kit. So it's going to be a beautiful billet front cover for the LT engine. It's going to come with a fixed standard cam gear, single row cam gear. It's going to come with a billet timing chain guide as well. And then of course it eliminates any issues with the stock cam gear. We don't have to modify the stock cam gear. It takes a lot of weight off the front of the camshaft. It's a very, very tried and true kit. It's priced really well. It looks fantastic. And again, we're going after quality. We're going after reliability. Those components just add a tremendous amount of those aspects to the build. The LT4 crank seal, we get an LS style crank seal in there. That comes standard in the late model engines cover. ARP head studs, that's another one. I get a lot of builds that come in here that have stock head bolts still in them. It's crazy. At a minimum, you're going to want to upgrade to an ARP head bolt, at a minimum. We use studs on everything. I don't care what it is. If it's naturally aspirated, boosted, doesn't matter. You're going to get a head stud. Yes, it costs a little bit more money, but it's studded, it's strong, that's it, one and done. Okay, if you're after quality and you're after the best of the best, that's what you will get here. Again, you might go to 10 different shops. They might tell you, hey, we can use stock head bolts in this build. It'll be just fine. That's fine. That's their opinion. You're going to get ARP head studs here. That's what I do in every build. It works really well. BTR trunnion upgrade kits on the rocker arms. I get a lot of cars that come here don't have any trunnion upgrades on the rocker arms. The stock bearings and stuff in those rocker arms are prone to failure. You will get a Brian Tooley Racing trunnion upgrade kit. So that's part of the standard kit. So again, we've pretty much gone down the list. Any item that we're taking off, if it can be upgraded, it's upgraded. If it can't be upgraded, it's going to be replaced. So you'll get a new part. Oil pan gaskets, that's another one. The little seals that seal the pan to the actual block where the oil passes through. Those O-rings, people don't change them. They dry rot, they get cracked and old. We change them. That's part of the package. So bottom line, guys, our head cam package is very, very robust. It is priced accordingly. It is expensive. The labor and the tuning, everything that goes into this, it's a lot. The engine had to come out of this car to swap the cam. So yes, we'll put some pictures up. The engine is out of the car to do all this work, and then we slide it back in. But it's going to provide the reliability. As I said before, it's going to make excellent power. The efficiency goes through the roof, and all the components in there are meant to be abused. They're meant to take the type of abuse and strain that we're going to put on this thing. We're going to be making 850 plus crank horsepower. I need to know that the components that we use are up to snuff. So without further ado, we're going to continue the tuning process, but I did want to get into the specifics of our head cam package. Guys, if you have any questions on the head cam package, any specific questions on products themselves, you're welcome to call me, email me, DM me. I'm happy to go over them with you. If you need a quote, shoot me a message, and I'd be happy to quote you. So we're going to get back to tuning. Again, guys, I appreciate your patience, and I look forward to seeing the other side of tuning Bad Punk'n ZL1. All right, guys, well, that concludes the dyno tuning on Bad Punk'n. I don't know if you can tell if you see the smile on my face, but the results are amazing. No surprise, though, the right combination of parts, something that we do all the time here, a very routine type of job. So I had certain expectations for the car. It certainly it actually exceeded the expectations. Very, very happy with it. And you'd be surprised to know, actually, we made a lot more horsepower on 93, making less boost than we did in episode 2. And I'll go into more detail on that and how that works. So let's get right into it. As you recall from episode 2, we had full bolt-ons, upper lower pulley, and a full tilt ported LT4 supercharger from Jokerz. We also had a 103 throttle body and a standard roto-fab. So you've already heard about the head cam package that we did in this car. What else did we add? Well, we added a DSX low side. All right, up to this point, I've had a completely factory fuel system. We knew that we would probably run out of low side with this next round of modifications, so we did add a DSX low side. Very simple installation. I'm sure you guys out there either have one on your car or you've heard of it. It's basically an auxiliary fuel pump. It tees into the factory fuel line. It's activated by a controller based off manifold KPA or boost pressure, and it just basically gives the low side fuel system a boost, gives us the pressure we need, which is going to help the high side and certainly give us as much fuel volume as we're going to need. So did add a DSX low side. We upgraded to the race port from Jokerz Performance over the full tilt. Brett only offers the race port now, so this is the race port version. We actually went down a size on the upper pulley to a 2.35 from a 2.45, and then we went to a 9.5 lower from the 9.1 that was previously on there. Now, why did I go smaller on the upper, bigger on the lower? Typically, when you add more flow through the engine by way of freer flowing cylinder heads and a larger camshaft, you're going to lose some boost pressure. Boost is a measurement of the type of the work, in other words, that the blower is exerting or it's having to work against. So we know that if we sort of make the blower's job easier moving air through the motor, it's not going to work as hard, and therefore boost is going to lower. So knowing that and having the experience that we have, we know that we need to change the pulley configuration. Now, we weren't quite sure where the boost was going to land. I figured at a minimum it would be where it was in episode 2, which was right around 16 PSI. We actually, and I'll go into this more later, but we actually made 15 PSI average. So boost went down slightly, but we were able to gain a ton of power. The other upgrades that we added as well were a RotoFab Big Gulp. So we now have a RotoFab Big Gulp 103 throttle body, the race port from Jokerz Performance, our head cam package, and a DSX low side. That's it. Stock injector, stock high pressure fuel pump. Really not much to this build. This is a very routine job that we would do here. So let's get into the power. Got with Derek at DSX Tuning. We started the tuning out on 93, of course. Again, our average boost through the pulls was about 15. It would start out at 16 down low and kind of taper off to about 15 or so average. So a little bit less than episode 2. On pump gas, on pump 93, we were able to make 771 horsepower and 801 foot-pounds of torque. Again, if you recall, the baseline was 661, 672. So very, very nice gain on 93. 771 horsepower, 801 foot-pounds of torque on less boost. That is a result of the efficiency of this setup and obviously spot-on tuning. So again, huge gain there in horsepower and torque. Definitely something I'm gonna feel. And we'll put up the graph as we always do, so you can see the overlay from baseline to the 93 results and then even the 109 results, which I'll talk about in a minute. Again, very straightforward setup. The only heat exchanger upgrades we have in here is just a heat exchanger. I don't have a heat exchanger tank or anything like that. So the manifold air temps do get up there. It's not the most efficient setup as far as temps go, but again, we'll upgrade that stuff later. Right now, we're just testing our head cam package and other bolt-ons. Once the 93 tuning was done, we switched over to MS109. MS109 is a race gas from VP. Again, I've talked about this before. It's super expensive. It's not something I'm gonna run in this car all the time. This is just for fun. You know, we wanna throw some race gas at it and see what it does. The advantage of MS109 or like an oxygenated race gas over E85 is the fact that I don't have to have a fuel system. I don't have port injection, I have none of that stuff. I just have a low side, and we had plenty of fuel. If I had put E85 in this car, we're gonna need to upgrade the fuel system, and that just costs lots of money, which I'll do later, but for now, race gas. So, got the 109 in there. We added a whole bunch more timing, went from about 19.5 degrees of timing on 93 up to almost 27 degrees on 109. And on the same amount of boost and the same setup, which is more timing and more perfection in the tune from Derek, we were able to make 821 horsepower, 831 foot-pounds of torque. Again, guys, 831 horsepower, up from 661 on 93 in the previous episode. The torque curve, the horsepower curve are amazing. We're still on a LT4 blower, albeit it's ported, but there's no meth in this thing. There's no port injection in this thing. It's you know, yeah, there's some money in the modifications themselves, but if you consider the gain and where we are now from where we started for what we put in this thing, it's awesome. These cars are absolutely amazing. If you know what you're doing and you have the right combination of parts and you have the right tuner and you have the experience to back everything that you're doing, all the decisions you're making, that's the result. So again, the 93 numbers, very happy with them. That's something I could take out on the road, drive every day, anywhere, anytime. And then obviously the MS109 numbers are awesome, which we expected. We could probably actually run another maybe half a degree of timing, pick up another 20 wheel or so, but we called it a day on that. We're very happy with it. Derek and I are very pleased. So guys, I appreciate you being as patient as you have been for this episode to come out. It's been almost 9 months, I think, or so since we came out with episode 2. We're a very busy shop. We're actually getting ready to move our facility down to Pompano Beach, about 20 minutes south of here. The new facility is huge. It's awesome. It's going to allow us to be much more efficient here and get things done faster and create more content for you guys on social media. Obviously, Bad Punk'n, I'm not stopping here. We've got an episode coming out just dedicated to fuel system upgrades to clarify and sort of provide some guidance there for people who are looking to add fuel systems to these cars. We've got a Harrop 2650 we're going to be putting on this thing. I have an LTR 427 we're going to put in this thing from late model engines. So a ton more content coming out on Bad Punk'n, a ton of more content coming out on customers' builds. I promise you it's coming. We're just a very busy shop and we're a small crew, and it takes a team to put these videos out and to get these things done. So guys, if you liked what you saw in this episode, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please comment below. Please like the video, and of course, as always, subscribe. You subscribing to this channel will help this channel grow. I don't get paid for this. This is on my own dime. So the more subscribers we get, the more people see this, the more effect it has on people, and the more we get the word out and educate people on these LT platforms and the LS platforms and things like that. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm gonna go ahead and get Bad Punk'n off the dyno, get her out on the road. Derek and I will do some street tuning and some final tuning and stuff like that in this car. And that's it. So thank you again, guys, for checking us out. This is Erik at Florida High Performance. I will see you next time on the Florida High Performance YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.